Ryota speaking. Aquí habla Ryota. So I'm gonna talk about like a Spanish keyboard layout. Why do we need to talk about Spanish keyboard layout now? Well, in order to acquire a new language, we really need to be the person who we want to become before we become. So basically what I mean is we need to start acting like a person who already speaks Spanish. So let's dive into it. So today I want to talk about language setting and keyboard layout because it's important to how you can type special characters which Spanish language use. And basically there are about 7 characters that I want to introduce you how to actually use these character in typing in the computer. And those are enye, which is N with little thing above it, and then also a, e, u, o, e, and those a, e, u, o, I respectively will have little thing above those characters, and then also especially Español and España. Basically, Spanish spoken in Spain actually use this question mark flipped around. So since we are learning Spanish, we really should understand those special characters and actually how we can use in daily typing. So this is the keyboard. We are very used to it. We are used to seeing it every day. But this is actually a Spanish character keyboard layout, and there are differences, and I'm gonna explain to you one by one. And don't be overwhelmed with this change or differences because it's really simple, and it's super easy to switch around, and so you can actually easily type those special character in order to be speaking and also writing Spanish. Now, in order to make it really easy, I want you to focus on these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 keys only right now. Just focus on those 6 keys. And first of all, we need to install the keyboard layout in either Windows or Apple OS. And I am a Windows user, so I am not exactly sure how it works in Apple computer, but I'm sure it's very similar. In case of Windows, you just type in Cortana search bar, language or region, and then it will come up the option of under setting, there is a time and language, actually region and language. And within that region and language setting, you can actually add language as you can see here. And I already have English and Spanish and Japanese, but for sake to show you guys, I'm gonna click on add language, and then we can search through Español. And they have a slightly different layouts for each countries. But let's say here, for sake of installing something, I'm gonna choose Español Colombia, and then hit next. And this will install that language and its keyboard. So now going back to keyboard layout, and like I said, I want you to just focus on these few keys. And first, this keyboard layout is obviously Apple computer. And in Apple computer, in order to switch the keyboard usage from English to Spanish or any other language, you install them first, and then you can hit the Control, Option, and spacebar at the same time. That will switch around the keyboard layouts that you've installed in your OS system. And in case of Windows, actually that will be Windows key and spacebar together, those 2 keys together. And that will switch the keyboard layout from English to Spanish. And what typical Spanish keyboard will look like is this. So focus on those few keys, and then we already talked about those green keys, so we have only 3 left. And the red one right next to L key to the right side is going to be enye. So the first one is red key that is marked by red, which is in English keyboard, it's a column key, which is going to become enye. So special key for enye. So when you switch to Spanish keyboard layout, this key is going to be simply enye. So you can use it very simply all the time. So that is red that we just talked about is going to be enye. And next, we're going to look at blue key. And this is usually in English layout type of parenthesis on the left side parenthesis, type of parenthesis. I'm not exactly sure what to call at this point, but one of the parentheses, special character, right? And this is going to be in the Spanish keyboard layout. This key is going to be kind of a functional key that you can hit once and then you can release it. But after that, by typing O, I, U, E, A, either of them is going to have a special character of the Spanish language, which is the one you have a little thing above that particular character. For example, in this case, you hit that blue key, and then after release it, and you type O, and then you're gonna get this special character. And if you hit the blue key and release it, and then type I, then you're going to get this special character of Spanish E. The same thing, you hit the blue key and release it and hit U, and you're gonna get this special character of U. The same thing, you type this blue key and release it and type A, and you're gonna get this special character of A. And again, same thing, you type this blue key first and release it and type E, then you are going to get special character of this E. Now moving forward, I want you to focus on this orange key, which is negative sign, hyphen. This key for hyphen and minus, negative sign. The reason I want you to pay attention on this key is because when you switch to Spanish keyboard, question mark or typical parenthesis or plus, they are all gonna be moving around. So it's kind of a lot to remember. So I just want to focus on this key because this is often used, which is question mark. So at least you guys want to remember this key so you don't need to switch back and forth between English and Spanish when you are typing Spanish. So basically, if you hold shift and hit this key, is going to type question mark. So the location of the question mark is going to be here. And just as a bonus, on the right side of that key is typically equal sign or plus sign in English keyboard layout. It's going to actually be a special character of a question mark, but it's flipped. And probably I'm gonna show how special character is used, but oftentimes a Spanish language in Spain, in Europe, they are still using this character in the sentence for the question. But most of the country in Latin America, they don't use this anymore. So just to mention, and it's really good to know, it's original Spanish language from Spain, still use this special key. And another bonus will be, the key for the 0 is actually with the shift, holding shift, it's going to be equal sign. So again, those special character is going to move around if you switch the keyboard. So just so you know that if you know these things, it will help you because you don't need to switch around the English keyboard layout and Spanish keyboard layout. So if that 0 is going to be equal with the holding shift, then what happened to parentheses? Actually, those parentheses are going to shift one to the left, one each to the left. So if you hold shift and type 9, it's going to be an end part of the parenthesis. And guess what? The 8, key 8 is going to be beginning parenthesis if you're holding shift and type 8. And let's review what we gone through today. So we want to focus on few keys because those are the important keys to type special character in Spanish language, which is, as you can see, yellow, blue, red. Remember, the red one is for enye, and blue one, if you use this, you can type special character on each one of A, E, I, U, O, when they have, sometimes they have an accent mark on top of each character. And the yellow one is specifically want to remember because it's very often used question mark sign when you use with the holding shift key. So again, the Spanish keyboard layout is going to be typically looking like this instead. And that is for today.